Okay, so we've had a couple of requests for people asking us about how to use the GitLab NPM registry. So Steve's going to walk us through an example today of how to use the feature and give us a little demo for how to use the registry. Go take it away, Steve.
All right, I'm Steve. I'm a backend engineer on the package team. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here so we can jump right in. All right. So first things first is I'm going to go ahead and create a new project. So I've got my cool Hogwarts group here with a couple subgroups. And let's go ahead and create a project in Gryffindor. And maybe this project is going to be our, spells 101. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make it a public project so everyone can see it. And I'm gonna go over to my terminal here and I'm gonna make spells 101. And we'll go into that folder. And I'm going to go open that up in the code editor, which I'm just using VS Code here. Make it a little bit bigger for you. All right. So we'll start out, we'll create our app.js, which is just going to be our main entry point for the app. This is going to be the simplest NPM library that we can find because we're more focused on the implementation of publishing packages and installing them. So for our spells, a good spell, maybe we might just say Lumos. Oops. All right, that'll be it for now. So we'll focus more on the publishing side. But to get things started, I'm going to add a git ignore, and I'm going to add a .npmrc. And in the git ignore, I'm going to go ahead and ignore my .npmrc, which this is sort of an optional thing. It depends on how you're going to handle the npmrc, which we'll get into in just a minute. So I think I have enough here that I'm ready to make my first commit. I'm going to use this code right here to go ahead and initialize my repository. All right. Cool. So I should have some code here. Cool. And just for a little background, if we come to the GitLab documentation and search for NPM registry, first option that comes up should be the documentation of how to get started with the NPM registry, which is pretty much everything I'm going to be doing today. So we can see we've got a template for our npmrc file right here. We have all of the different pieces of the puzzle we need to be able to publish and install NPM packages on GitLab. So I'm going to copy this the npmrc template and go back to our project and put it right in here. And so as we can see, it shows that we're going to need our URL for the registry. We're going to need our OAuth token that's going to allow us to push and pull packages to the registry, especially if we're dealing with private packages. And when we're publishing, we're going to need the project ID of the project that we want to publish a package for. So I'm working off of my local host right now. So I'm just going to update this to localhost. You'd use whichever URL you're using, if it's gitlab.com or your own self-managed version of GitLab. And we can see right here my project ID is 33. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. All right. Before we get to the OAuth token, I'm going to go ahead and create my npm package.json file. So I'm going to do that with npm init. I'm just going to take all of the default values for the moment. And if we jump back to the project, we've got our package.json. Comes with all of our default values, which include the package name, the repository that it's going to, and some other details, including the entry point of the app, .js. So if we look back at the docs, you'll see that in order to be able to upload packages, we need to specify a publish config in the package.json. So let's go ahead and copy that over as well. And that's just one of these high-level key value pairs. And it can go anywhere in this file. So certainly we're not doing foo registry. Our registry it's going to be the top level group or user that you're publishing to. So in this case, the group is Hogwarts. And so with GitLab, all of our NPM packages have scoped names. So the scope here is going to be Hogwarts. And that means that our name value is also going to have to be updated with scope. So we're going to add the Hogwarts scope as well. The package name itself can be anything you'd like. So maybe let's just rename this to JS spells, a little bit different from the package name, just to show that it can be whatever you want. There's some rules in terms of what you can and can't name packages. You can't have additional slashes in here. You can't have additional @ signs. But otherwise, the actual package name can be pretty much anything. All right. Jump back over to our NPM RC, and I think the last piece of the puzzle here we need is our OAuth token. In these docs, we have the directions of how you can use your GitLab username, password in order to request a access token, and that will return your OAuth token. I've already gone ahead and done that, so I'm just going to copy and paste that over and save some time here. All right. So we've got our app.js, we've got our package JSON with our publish configuration, which shows our scoped package. And then over here, we do have one more place that identifies the scope. So we want to change that to Hogwarts as well. I'm just kind of going through and making sure we haven't missed any pieces here. And we should be able to start publishing this package. If you are familiar with NPM, you don't need to have an NPM RC file. You can set your NPM configuration using the npm config commands or by setting your global NPM RC file outside of the project. It's all personal preference or whatever your situation fits. And that information is all available on the NPM website for different ways you can configure that. All right, so I think now that we have all of this here, I'm going to go ahead and push my changes once more now that we've got the package JSON and everything else set up. So check the git status. We've got our new file. So we'll git add and commit. And we'll push that to master. All right, so then the last piece here is we should be able to go ahead and just say npm publish without any additional configuration. And so I'm getting an unauthorized error. And you can see here that the problem is it's trying to hit gitlab.com instead of hitting localhost 3001. So that means that I've got some sort of an issue either in my npm-rc, but it's most likely in the actual publish config. You can see here I actually forgot, I copied and pasted this over. I forgot to change this. So just a little bit of debugging for you. So we're going to change this to localhost 3001. And the project ID, I believe you said it was 33. All right. So let's go ahead and try that again. Now we can npm publish. All right, and it looks like it worked. let's go back to our project over here. And on the sidebar, we can see we've got the packages tool. We can go to the packages list. And here we've got our package, the Hogwarts.js spells. Installing the package is just as easy as long as you have access to this registry. If it's a private package, you'll need an OAuth token. If it's a public package, you just need the registry URL. So if I go back to a different app that I've made here, which I just called the install app. So in here, I have a similar NPM RC file that specifies the registry. So I've got my localhost 3000 registry. And so in here, I do have to make one or two changes. I'm going to reference the Hogwarts registry. And then that's really the only one I'm going to need. The last line in that npm-rc is referring to when you're publishing packages. This second line is only needed if you're using OAuth in order to access private packages. If you're just trying to hit the public registry, then you just need the registry URL. All right, so I should be able to take this package and install it here. Oops, looks like I misspelled it. There we go. So if we go back in here, we can see that we now have the node modules folder, and here's our package. And our package JSON, it's added it to our dependencies. All right, and once again, you don't need to use the npm-rc file to configure the registry URL. There's a variety of ways you can do that. Cool. All right, so let's get back into our main app and get to some of the more interesting stuff. So GitLab allows you to use CI in order to automatically generate and publish new packages. So for GitLab to be able to do that, we use a GitLab CI.yaml file. I'm going to use a template that we've made already, which will publish soon enough for everyone to use. But what this template is going to do is, since we ignored our npm-rc file, in order to be able to publish, we do need that npm-rc file on the GitLab CI. So the first step is we're going to generate that npm-rc file using this code here. And then this should look very familiar. We're going to just npm publish our script in the second step. And in addition to that, it's going to automatically bump the major version up. And so this is all very configurable. You could make it as simple or as complicated as you want. If you didn't want to have it automatically version your app and check in a new version of the package JSON with that version bump, this second script could be as simple as just an npm publish without any additional before script. And it would still work. So there's a lot of flexibility in what you can do here. All right, so to get this set up, we've got a few things that we're going to need to configure in our GitLab project. So the first few things we're going to need to do is set a few variables. And so if we go to our CI settings, we can set the variables that this script will then pick up and replace. So since we're generating this npm-rc file, we still need that OAuth token. And we don't want that to be checked in, so we're going to generate it on the fly, but we're going to use these private variables in order to set that. So I'm going to use the OAuth token key here and put in our OAuth token. And in addition to that, because this specific script is also using the repository and adding a new commit, we're going to use a personal access token from GitLab in order to be able to make that commit. I've already generated a personal access token. You can do that in your user settings on GitLab. And so I'm just going to copy that right over here. Actually, I might not have actually made one. So I'll go ahead and create one right now. So we would just go over to our settings. And then we can create our Hogwarts token. We'll just give it full access for the moment. So we can use it whenever we need. And that is the personal access token. Cool. So once we get those saved, they'll be accessible. One other thing is that this NPMRC file that we create, it is going to be saved as an artifact within GitLab. So any of our builds can then access this artifact and reuse it without having to rebuild it every time. So it's unlikely this NPMRC file is going to change. So in this example, I've got the file expiring in 1 week. You could make that 1 year. You could make it expire instantly, so it only lasts for the length of this specific build. It's totally up to you. But with that artifact being available, it will have the actual raw OAuth token in it. So since this is a public project, we don't want the general public getting access to that OAuth token. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the public pipelines option. So this is just going to block public access to artifacts. All right, and then the last piece here, just to save some time, since I am going to be using the master branch here, the master branch is usually a little bit more locked down. So I'm going to loosen up permissions on the master branch, just so that we don't run into any problems with the script trying to automatically push to it. I'm going to just unprotect it to loosen those up. This is something that you probably wouldn't be doing on your production projects. You probably want to be doing this with a different branch, or you'd find another way to work around that with different protection levels. All right. So we're going to update this URL to be the URL of my project here. So this is going to be Hogwarts Gryffindor Spells 101. And this URL is also available. It's the same as the clone of HTTP or HTTPS URL. And I think from here, we have everything we need to go. So we've got our 2 token variables, and we've updated our URL. So as soon as I push this, GitLab is going to recognize it as a CI pipeline, and it'll start the pipeline automatically. I did realize, since I am running this locally, I do need to start those pipelines up, which I'll do right now. Okay. Cool. So we got our new file, and then the changes we made to the package.json. So I'll add it, commit it, and push it to master. And if I reload this page, see that that uploaded. And if we come over to our CI pipelines, here we go, we've got one running. And so these first 2, these were the auto DevOps. That's something that I've automatically been able to automatically run. We can ignore those for now. since I didn't have a GitLab CI file, originally it was going to automatically try to run some CI for us. But now that we have the CI file, we can see that this pipeline has passed, and we can take a look at what happened in this pipeline. So we've got two jobs, or two stages here. First is the build stage, which is creating the npm-rc file. And so here we can see that we've gone through, we've created and uploaded that artifact we were talking about, which is the file itself. If we go back, the second one, which I misnamed to test stage, but this is actually building the package. And here we can see we've got the npm publish. So it's published, it bumped the version to 2.0. And then it looks like that succeeded. So if we go back to our package list, we should see version 2.0 here. And there it is. And in addition to that, I added in that script, the ability for it to automatically add a commit in order to update the package.json file to show the version 2.0. Go back to our main project page. You can see that the last commit was updated. I missed one little step here to actually update which version, to show which version it was updated to. But if we go into the package.json, you can see that it has updated to 2.0. All right. So that kind of covers the basics of how you can publish and use packages on GitLab.
That was awesome. Thank you, Steve, so much.